Okay, I've got my shading colors mixed up, and I have my wax palette here, and we're going to shade. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to wet my brush, and then I'm going to touch it just long enough for the shine to go away. And then the first thing we're going to do is shade the bird. Now, I've shaded this one, and we have our red mix, but also one of our tips is to take the original color, base color of the bird, which is, let me find my other palette, which is the dark yellow mix. So I'm going to put that dark yellow mix on the toe of my brush. This needs to be hydrated a little bit. Close that back up. And then I'm going to put the shading color on the toe of my brush. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to blend it until it blends into each other without, I'm going to get a little more water. I've got a little drop of water here so I can have some more control. And now I have too much water, so let's get a little more paint. Just blot it. And that's better. So the reason we're having the base coat on the same brush as the shade is because when you have this blend already on your brush, then I'm making you dizzy. It's easier to get a good blend on your muffin. So I'm going to lay that down right there at the edge with the shading color and the edge of the bird, and bring it all the way across and down the front. When you blend the base color and the shade color on your brush together, you will not get that line of marcation that a lot of people get when they float. That's why a lot of people don't like to float, because of that line. But you're eliminating that possibility, go over there a little bit, when you use the base color on the toe and the shading color on the, the base color on the heel and the shading color on the toe. So we've got that done. Then I'm going to shade the backs of the bird. Well, I've got that done, but let's go to the tail. We're going to use the dark blue mix. Wet our brush the same way. Just tap it to let the shine go away. Put the toe in here. And again, you can put the base coat of those birds on there, if you like, on the heel of your brush, because it doesn't hurt and it makes it an easier float. So we'll come over here and we'll blend. There's not a whole lot of color difference in these because we're just using a little darker shade of the same shade. And we're going to shade the top of this feather and the bottom of the other feathers. It's always difficult not to get my hand in the way. So we'll do that. And then we'll do the bottoms of these feathers. I really like the angle brush because by the brush not having hairs down on that side, you know, it eliminates the possibility of it getting in your way and making your float too wide. Okay. The next thing that we're going to shade is the heart, the bases of the hearts. And I'm going to put some extender on my hearts, because it's a wide area to float, it's a wide float, and I can use all the help I can get. This allows you more working time with your float, so that if you do get that line, then you can have more time to work it out of there, to take a small mop brush or take your angle brush again and work it out of there. So, okay, just did a no-no, left my brush sitting in the bucket. Bad habits. Okay, so we're going to put the dark red mix on the toe of our brush. We're going to blend it on our wax palette. I've recommended a gray wax palette to Module A class started this time, and I really like gray better. I'm using this one so I can use it up, and then I'm only going to buy gray. It really helps with seeing the true colors. So I'm going to come along here and just shade the bottom of this heart. Turn it around and go back up the other side. And now I also want to fill in some of this area. So I'm just going to take that back down just a little bit farther up from the first time and just kind of blend them in. Do it a couple of times, take a mop brush and pat your demarcations away. Then you want to let that dry, or you may want to dry it with a hair dryer and see where where you need to go over again a little bit, because you'll probably need to do it a couple of times to get the darkness that you want. On this heart up at the top of the design, we're going to shade just that top edge of the tulip petal. So we'll do that, and by doing that, it kind of gives your heart a shape. And then when that's dry, you want to go in and also shade the bottom of your heart right here. Okay? For the flowers, let's get that one on the next video, so I can get my mixes ready for you first.